Welcome, everybody. And Yolanda and I have the great privilege to introduce you to the Inner Development Goals and the South Africa Healthcare Hub. And you're probably wondering, what is this all about? Don't stress. We're going to tell you in a very quick little synopsis of it. We're not going to take too much of your time. So please give us a few minutes so that we can share this amazing space, an exciting space with you. We all know that in healthcare, the expectation is that you would be happy, happy, happy all the time. You have to be all the time. You have to be compassionate and caring and be there for everybody. But the truth is that actually we're exhausted. We're exhausted, and it's not the same as with a corporate burnout. This is a soul sickness where it's compassion fatigue, as well as everything else. On top of that, you have to do more with less. You have to give of yourself all the time. And healthcare is imploding because of the exhaustion. If you look at the Gallup scores of 2023 in Southern Africa, you will see that 26% of people are actively angry at work. 70% are actively looking for a new job. That's probably you. You could be the 70% or the 30%. The other percentages are those who are actively stressed and those who are quietly quitting. And as healthcare, we cannot afford to have the small amount of resources we have, which are the human beings, actively looking for jobs and quitting. The world itself is in need. This is a global phenomenon in all the healthcare spaces. And what is happening is across the globe, we're trying to attract people from other countries to help us where we don't have enough people for our populations of what they need for healthcare. But on top of this, our world is in trouble and is unhealthy. An example is our seas in the last 2 years have become acidotic. And those of you who work in ICU know that if a patient becomes acidotic, we're in trouble. Our seas have become acidotic. We have lost so many of our trees, which are the lungs of the earth. So it's almost as if the earth has become a chronic patient who has got kidney disease, lung disease, heart disease, and is in trouble, and we are ignoring it. The world is just smoking a cigarette outside the room, pretending that they are not in trouble. If we look at that, it's not just that, we've got hunger, poverty, mental distress, inequality, ocean decline, and war, and everything. So it's just, when you see this, you just feel anxious. I feel anxious just talking about it. So can I encourage you, just take a deep breath, because there is good news. What happened is in 2015, all the nations of the world got together to be able to decide what do we do. And what they came up with is the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It is goals that by 2030, we should reach in order to stop the progress of the disease of the world so that we and our children have a future. If you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, it actually fits in very nicely with healthcare, clean water and sanitation, gender equality, good health and well-being, zero hunger. It also goes to peace, justice, and strong institutions. But we know in the last 5 years, we've had a COVID pandemic that stopped the world. We have also had an increase in war and also almost a polarization, which goes against this. 2030 is only in 6 years' time. That is not a lot of time. And that is why it is so important that we take this seriously. I'm just going to show you what has happened currently with well-being, health and well-being. It looked like we were making strides, but now if you look at this, you see that we're actually going backwards. 25 million children missed out on important routine immunizations. Malaria cases. This is all adding to the earth, because we know that healthcare is so important to communities and community health. And the fact that a woman dies every 2 minutes from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth in 2020, this is cause for concern. And that is why we have actually shifted to the inner development goals that were created in 2020 in Sweden. And I'm going to hand over to Yolanda, who is going to share more about this good news. And I hope you get as excited about it as we are.
Thanks, Colleen. So the inner development goals are new to me, and I'm brand new to this area, and I am excited about it because, as Colleen has just shared, if you look at the world is not in a great place. And there are so many complex problems and complex challenges that need to be solved. And the thinking behind the inner development goals is that as humans, we need inner development. And if we were to develop our inner skills, we could make the world a far better place, and we would be able to solve the complex problems that we're faced with. So it's either give up or start developing ourselves and inspire others to develop themselves. So an amazing group of people came together in 2020 and put together this particular framework. It's free to access for, you don't need a license, you don't need money, you don't need anything. You can access these incredible tools and resources. And there's been a global call to develop hubs that address, in particular areas like healthcare, to develop hubs across the world where these particular inner development goals are unpacked and explored and shared and developed. So yeah, so there are five inner development goals, or 5 dimensions, and under each one of them they have certain skills, total of 23, which I'm not going to go into dramatically. All of these resources are free, and the purpose of a hub, and a healthcare hub in this case, is to unpack these and to look at their application for healthcare in South Africa, in Southern Africa. There currently isn't a Southern African healthcare hub, and it seems like the right thing to start exploring and to start coming together. So you'll see that so much is about is relating and collaborating and then taking action. So you'll see that under each of these dimensions there are particular skills, which I'm not going to elaborate on, but every single one of them is a call for us as individuals to be inspired, to do our own inner development work, and then to inspire others, to role model, to influence, and to the point, to the purpose that we are better human beings, and human beings working together to solve complex problems. So enhance our thinking, our perspective skills, sense making, etc. Enhance how we relate to others, our connectiveness, enhancing our humility and empathy and compassion, working together to solve these problems, collaborating, co-creating. So the thing about this hub is that it still needs to be co-created. Colleen and I have come together just for the very first seedling that has been planted. And we're trying to mobilize others. But we realize that this is very much something that is going to be co-created. And the acting part is where, with optimism and courage and creativity, we go forward and we mobilize and we start solving these complex problems. And our field of where we spend most of our time is within healthcare. And yes, there would be, but if we start solving many of the complex challenges in healthcare, that has an impact on climate change. It has an impact. It has far-reaching implications. But obviously, our real passion and expertise and our major concern lies within healthcare, and we would be thrilled to develop this hub with you and start unpacking these skills and these dimensions and developing ourselves in order to inspire others to develop themselves. Colleen, do you want to take over here?
That's fine. I'm happy to do that, and I hope that everyone saw the in the last slide of courage, because it takes courage to do things differently. It takes courage to shift in a different way. And Yolanda talked about creating seedlings. This is what we've done, but it's not for us to own this. Nobody owns this. What we are doing is we are just sending out seeds into the air to see where they can find fertile land. 2030, 6 years away. It's now 2024. If you're watching this video in another year. And that means we all need to take the seeds and plant them in our own areas. It's not for Yolanda and myself to plant it in our areas of space, but for everybody to take it on and to co-create the space in a way that in Southern Africa, our healthcare can actually shift because we focused on the inner development goals. And that is, so if you have any questions, please feel free to get hold of us. We have been in healthcare all our lives. I have now shifted to executive coaching within leaders within healthcare. And Yolanda is consulting within healthcare. But we have been for the last, I don't want to say how many years, Yolanda, it makes us maybe, but over 30, I think. We have, definitely for me, we've been involved in healthcare and seen what has happened in 30 years of how it has gone so well, and then it has fallen apart, and now it's coming back, and how the focus has to be on the healthcare of the people, but also the people who develop to bring the healthcare to the communities, and that is you. So we need you. Please get hold of us. And if this is speaking to your heart, get hold of us and let us help you create your own space and have you join us in our space. Yolanda, I'm going to hand over to you.
So we've scheduled as a next step, because it's one step at a time. We have scheduled a healthcare hub meeting, a South Africa healthcare hub meeting, and that meeting is the 23rd of May between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. We don't know who will arrive for that meeting. We don't have control over that. But
we will be.
We hope we will be there,
and we look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, Colleen her optimism is exceptionally high. She has developed those inner skills very well. And yeah, just look forward to where this can go. So yes, that's our short introduction to South Africa's healthcare hub for the IDGs.
Thank you, Yolanda, and thank you for co-creating with me. And we look forward to meeting you. Remember, it takes courage. It's just the little steps. It's not a big, this is not meant to be a huge thing. It's meant to flow. So thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you.